Hey, how's it going? So I'm going to read some cards. And I pulled from the Shaman's Dream Oracle deck, number 20, Feast of Plenty. And it says, Choices and Their Consequences. So you can see there's two like samurai swords sort of sticking in an orb. And there are a couple of points where it looks like light is breaking out of it, like where this sword went in anyway. You can see light sort of exploding from there. But then also right here, I think that's like a crystal, because if you look at the top there, it's like kind of pointy, and it could have sides like a wand crystal, I think they call them. Sort of a fat chunk cylinder, but it's not, I mean, it's round-ish. It's got flat sides, it's all geometrical. But yeah, so that looks like it's bursting out of there. And then there's a bee here, and the bee, I don't know, I didn't think it came out of it. I think it came over to it and was all, what's happening over here? It like it's scented sensed some like pollen in there or something, or like, I don't think there is, but I think the bee thought there was. And I don't know what that might be, that substance, except that it's some type of energy and it's powerful. But bees are plenty symbolic of a bunch of things. In fact, it's not the card I pulled from the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit book, but I'm going to just take a look at bees here because I want to check their symbology real quick. Well, maybe not real quick. Maybe just the speed I do it. Okay, so it says, the bee is earnest, hardworking, democratic. The bee personality is a delight to be around, especially when there's a team project on the horizon. Bees love to work steadily and thoughtfully until the final task is complete. They are sensitive creatures, aware of many subtleties at once. Since they're artists at heart, they usually add creative details to the overall vision. For the most part, they have bustling, joyous personalities until they get too tired from all the work, and then they gripe and sting. When in balance, content, active, vibrant. When out of balance, overworked, annoyed. To bring into balance, mini vacation. Okay, so I'm reading this, and it's like talking about basically what I was just saying I went through with my... I had a storage issue. Watch the previous video if you're interested in knowing about it. I haven't uploaded it yet, so I haven't titled it yet. It'll just be the one before this one. But I basically had a situation where I had to bring myself into balance, and I had a mini vacation, and it's been happening fairly often, and it's not always a case of me being all like whacked out about something, but like COVID happened, and I've injured myself, and that kind of took me out of activity for a while. So rather than being stuck, and you can be sore or whatever, but it doesn't have to be like the worst thing in the world, So, I mean, rather than sitting there and feeling sorry for myself that I got hurt and being mad that I can't go do stuff, what's the point? So I just turned my mind in other directions, found other stuff to think about, other stuff to do, because really, if I'm out doing these other things outside, exercising or whatever, and I'm not here, that means I'm not doing stuff here that I could be and maybe even should be doing. I'm not talking about like housework and stuff like that. I'm talking about the stuff that I do that that makes me feel fulfilled, that makes me feel like I've accomplished something. Um, so there's always something other to do than be pissy. And I'm less and less pissy as time goes on, since I've been learning how to disperse all of that anger and resentment, like it just, what happened with me is I was mad for a couple of days, and I was like, okay, it's not working, it's being mad has done all it's gonna do, I'm done. And then I just turned to other pursuits. So I'm just offering that, like, if it might help somebody that could need that information one day. You can turn your mood around, but you do have to, like, kind of pull yourself out of it. So, I didn't read the, and I didn't even finish, so the bee. So the bee, I feel like, is this positive energy, and I feel like actually all of this is positive. It kind of reminds me, the orb kind of reminds me of a crystal ball, and I don't know what's up with the samurai swords, but they also kind of remind me of the Two of Swords, but I don't think that's the same energy as what's happening here. And I'm not sure what it means that this one's all breaking out all of the light in that, and this one is just kind of standing by. I'm not sure what that means. Oh my god. Okay, conjoined twins, and one of them's in a state of not alert, a state of like coma. Catatonic, there we go. So yeah, like, I don't know, it is standing by in its catatonic state. Thing about catatonic people is it looks like they're shut off from the outside, but on the inside, your mind, I don't think ever shuts off. And then your autonomical functions in your body, like, you may not be raising your hand and making certain gestures and signs and things, but your hands are still getting all of the blood flow and nutrients, and there's still hands that'll do hand stuff, you know what I mean? But I think behind that sort of closed, shut down face, there's a lot going on, and that reminds me of that movie with Robin Williams, where he was a doctor, Awakenings. And Robert De Niro there's a disease, it has a name, and because I just am spontaneously, I didn't look it up. I will, okay, here's a pen. I'm going to make a note to myself to put the name of the disease and Awakenings in the collection box. The info box under the video. Oh my goodness. Awakenings disease. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna be done with this in a second. I guess it's just good to have a standby that's fresh, like a fresh horse. So, well, what is going on in here? There's a lot of light. It sort of looks like a planet, but I really feel like it's more a crystal ball. Like, all of the stuff coming out of it is, well, it's all like bursting with light. And then these leaves that are, there's like some vegetation under it, and it looks to me like parsley and cilantro. I don't know where that's supposed to be. I don't know where this happens. And then also, I noticed this when I first pulled the card. See that brown area? I looked at that for a while and I was like, what even is that? What is it, like attached to something? Well, you know, I think it might be, because since I've been sitting here doing this, I see that it looks like the orb is sitting on like a platform, or like a wooden platform. And then if you look under the vegetation, you can see that there's sort of like some kind of, I guess it's a stand. I was gonna say maybe it was a tree, but if you look, there's like a space between these brown legs. So, and oh yeah, there. Okay, so yeah, like maybe it's sitting on a stool or something. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know where this happens. But obviously, now that I look at it and read it again, it says choices and their consequences. So I guess the orb is like full of choices, and the swords are also like choices. One to break into the orb and sort of loose what's in there free, but the other one is still just standing by. Anyway, here, let me read what the guidebook says, the Shaman's Dream Oracle Guide. Feast of Plenty. Try that again. Options. Choices and their consequences. Life's blessings. A feast is laid out before you, and it requires you to choose. What will satisfy your hunger? Something new and unconventional, with its potential for bitter and savory qualities, or something you already know you love. You are faced with a plethora of opinions right now, and while they may seem to be an extraordinary thing, too many choices can throw you off balance. You might be worried that once you commit, you wouldn't be able to turn back or refuse to confront the consequences of that decision. The most important thing to realize is that the feast is offering you experience. No amount of overanalyzing or strategizing will help you make the right choice now. Don't debate the right or wrongness. Instead, just choose. In the choosing is the seed of experience, and that is what is necessary now. Sour, bitter, sweet, savory. What matters is relishing the experience until you digest all of your choice. Digest all that your choice is offering you right now. Only one warning. Avoid the same choice if it keeps you hungry. If something didn't feel good or does not bring you what it seemingly promised, do not choose that again. The experience will only repeat itself, and you will have more than a bad taste in your mouth. The feast is yours to enjoy. You can always go back for more when you're hungry again, for life's blessings are ever available to you and calling your name. Well, I guess the choices were in the orb. Yeah, I'm still kind of on that sword that's sort of completely clean and intact on its side. I guess it's an unchosen choice. Okay, so the card that I did pull from the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit deck was Fire Ant. And as you can see, the ants are closing in on whatever's in the center there. And like I said before, it looks to me like a nipple on a breast, but it's in bad shape, so it's probably not that. But what it also looks like is the ants in the center have managed to get themselves into this sort of like red hot area. It's like all fiery around the edges, although it does kind of look like a flower because my vision is going to crap and it's just kind of blurry. But anyway, the radiating circles, the concentric circles of ants, are all sort of converging on this point. And I don't know if you've ever seen ants try to deal with water. They will create a pontoon bridge out of each other, which is kind of crazy. I mean, it's just fascinating to look at. It's like living engineering. It's crazy. And it brings to mind of, like, as always, wait. To this morning, there's always stuff happening. There's always some emergency that everybody's got to go running to and do damage control over. And his name is Donald Trump. No, well, maybe. But what I was laughing about is that I was going to start talking about, like, how I feel like this is the world in some way. And I remembered that when I woke up this morning, and I usually turn on some news first thing, and it was that Trump had another indictment. And I know I'm laughing, and I just want to be clear. Trump's awfulness aside, he's doing really terrible things. He's like not. Like, he's no longer like a member of his own country anymore. He's got far more sort of, he likes other countries a lot better. Other countries that don't have our democracy, he loves. But you can look it up. I don't want to talk about that. But the other thing I want to say about him is that if you ever look at him, especially lately, the man looks haunted. And I don't think it's so much the legal stuff. Although I don't know what all charges they're going to come out with eventually. But I think he probably is not too worried about that because he's rich, and he's got backers. He's got people that help him, people that really like him. I mean, he can do a pledge drive in an instant with his mega people. But if you look at his face, he looks haunted, and I don't feel like it's exclusively his legal troubles. I believe that he made some arrangements with other people from other countries and has not been able to carry them out. And as far as his wanting to be president again, well, they say all the time that he is doing that to avoid being prosecuted for stuff, but I don't think it's a guarantee he's going to win. But it's like, I believe he had like some obligations, and he has filled out a lot of them, and I think he's still doing stuff like, I feel pretty certain that Marjorie Taylor Greene is his mouthpiece in Congress. So I think he still kind of has a hand in things, sort of. He can be an influence, but I think he's also worn out his welcome with most people. So I don't know how much further he's going to be able to push people, but then also I don't know how many people compromise themselves or in what way to align with the guy. So the point of all that is that I think he looks haunted because he's more worried about these other people that he's obliged to, that I'm going to guess one of them's Putin. So yeah, I would think that if he was worried about anything, he'd be worried about something that guy would do. Because I think he still feels like he can just rich away all of his troubles. I don't think that's going to be the case. And I don't, he's like antagonizing this Jack Smith guy, and that seems like a really bad idea. I think the guy has like a lot of character that would prevent him from just being punitive because Trump's out there talking trash about him and his family. I think he probably, actually I don't think that, I feel like he feels confident that he has enough charges that he can get indictments with and convictions. So I think that if he's going to be retaliatory and punitive in any way, it was just going to be like, I don't have to go out there and talk a bunch of trash about the guy. I don't have to drum up bogus charges or try and tack on things to make it worse to like put him away longer. And I don't even think he's going to end up going to jail. But I don't think that that he can like sway Smith at all. And I think Smith is very competent, or I feel like I feel like he's just like ready to go. He has to like go through the motions and do all the procedures. But I think if he could, like tomorrow, he would take him to a hanging judge in the Old West and go, this, and this guy, string him up. That's the confidence I feel from Smith. So I think Trump is a little bit afraid of him. Otherwise, he wouldn't be out there every day bawling like a moo cow about it. And I feel bad for him because he put himself in this position, and then he wasn't competent to do what. I mean, obviously, or maybe not obviously. I feel like he was put up to the whole everything he's doing. I think he's like mean-hearted, and I think that he's canny in a lot of ways, but it seems like mainly self-protective. I think beyond his personal bubble. If he didn't have his family and his team of people and his supporters, I think he'd be lost. And maybe that's what he's feeling too, because it looks like people are fleeing the Trump ship. Rat people. Anyway, yeah. So, the Trump ship, wherever it's floating in the swamp, I guess, here's all these guys, maybe legal agents of the government, converging on the red-hot Trump violations of the law or something. But or we have a number of sort of hot problems right now. This could just be also, it could just also be, that's not a thing. It could also be just like people that want to preserve democracy and keep things rolling and improving for everyone, even though like there's a lot of arguments about what's good for who between the two parties that we're only allowed to have, I guess. We have other parties, but they don't ever like make a dent. Well, okay, that's a whole other discussion. I'm not going to go there. I'm saying we got a lot of stuff going on, and it's going to take all hands on deck, including like what do you call like boat pursuit at sea? I don't know, but he's just one of the problems, and he's kind of on fire too with his problems. I believe it or not, I feel for the guy. I do. I feel bad for him because I feel like everything he does comes out of him being hurt, and he's so obsessed with people not abandoning him, like being loyal, but he's not loyal himself, so he doesn't even really believe in it. And that's like as fickle as a child, like they're too impatient to wait, too impatient to figure out to wait, how to wait. He just has a lot of childlike qualities, and they're not the cute ones particularly. Enough about him. So, we have a lot of choices, right? There's a lot of optimism also in the world, and just things that we're not even aware of yet, just in there, in that orb, surrounded with that warm glow. It's like they're, what do you call the period when the chicken is sitting on the eggs? Well, anyway, let's just say gestating. And it's kind of like symbolizing now. There's like all this going on, and we have all these choices. We also have this business that we got to deal with, but that doesn't mean that we should, not partake in this as well. In fact, partaking in this stuff, like good choices and happiness and positive stuff, will like give us the strength to go through dealing with all of this, because it's not just one thing, as I said. And I think that's it. So I just want to think about this and make sure that I made some sense here. Potential. This is a lot of potential. Okay, now I'm done. Thank you and good night.